In this video, we'll be discussing environmental hazards. So let's quickly look at the meaning of environmental hazards. What are environmental hazards? An environmental hazard is a state in which the natural environment of people and other organisms are under threat. In some situations, we discover that our environments are under threat. So let's look at some examples of environmental hazards. Some examples of environmental hazards include soil erosion, flooding, is an example of environmental hazards. Other examples include desertification. Then we have bush burning. We also have depletion of the ozone layer and deforestation. So we are going to treat them one after the other. We are starting with the very first one, which is soil erosion. But before we discuss on soil erosion properly, let's quickly look at the meaning of soil. Soil can be defined as the topmost surface of the earth crust which supports plant growth. That is the meaning of soil. The topmost part of the earth crust that supports plant growth is known as soil. This soil is formed as a result of a process known as weathering of the rock. So when the rock is broken down into tiny pieces, it produces the soil. Now, what is weathering of rock? Weathering is the breaking down of rock or dissolving of rocks and minerals on the Earth's surface. It can occur in different forms. We have the biological weathering, chemical weathering, and mechanical weathering. So, when the topsoil is being washed away from the surface, it is referred to as soil erosion. We have two major types of soil erosion. The two types are wind erosion and water erosion. So let's quickly look at the very first one, which is the wind erosion. The wind erosion is when the topsoil is being blown off by strong wind. That is when the surface of the soil is blown off by strong wind. It is referred to as the wind erosion. So let's quickly look at a picture of the wind erosion. So you see how the topsoil is being blown off. Water erosion. Water erosion occurs when the topsoil is being washed off by water. The different types of water erosion are sheet erosion, rill erosion, and gully erosion. So let's quickly look at the very first type of water erosion, which is the sheet erosion. The sheet erosion occurs when the particles of the soil are uniformly removed from the surface. In this type of erosion, there is no sign that the soil is being affected by water because there is no channel or gully on the surface of the soil. You will hardly notice it because it is uniformly removed. So let's quickly look at a picture of the sheet erosion. So this is a picture of the sheet erosion. There is no sign that there is any form of erosion. The real erosion. The real erosion occurs when you discover that after the run of water, it will form tiny channels on the surface of the soil. And this situation needs to be managed in order to avoid gulling, in order to avoid gulling. So let's look at a picture of the real erosion. You see the slow movement of water. The third type is gully erosion. In this type of erosion, you notice deep channels and the water run off at a great speed on the deep channel. It is actually dangerous to human living in that environment, and it is as a result of the advanced stage of the real erosion. So let's look at the picture of the gully erosion. So this is a picture of the gully erosion. You see the gully, the deep gully, and the water running at a great speed. Now, what are the causes of soil erosion? The causes of soil erosion include desertification. Desertification simply means when there is no vegetation on the land because the land has really reduced on its fertility. So the land is exposed to any form of erosion. Another cause is deforestation. Deforestation simply means the felling of vegetations, trees, the felling of trees. So the land is actually empty and it is prone to any form of erosion. Then bush burning. When you set fire on your vegetation or fell tree, the land becomes empty and it will live at the mercy of any form of erosion, be it water erosion or wind erosion. Then another one is overgrazing. When you take farm animals to a particular piece of land repeatedly on a piece of land, the foot of the animals tends to create channels on the farmland and it can lead to erosion. Poor farming method is another cause of soil erosion. Many farmers dey practice farming on a piece of land continuously year in and year out, and this can actually lead to erosion. Then construction of buildings. When you take heavy vehicles to a particular site over a long period of time, the tires of the vehicle tend to create channels on the site and it can lead to erosion. What are the effects of soil erosion? One of the effects of soil erosion is that it can destroy the soil structure. So if you look at the picture on the screen, you discover that the soil structure of this land is being destroyed. So that is one of the effects. Another effect is that it can lead to loss of life and properties. So you see that building on the screen caving into the gully, so it leads to loss of properties and life. Then another effect is that it can destroy our roads. So it can cause gully on our roads, can cause potholes on the road by destroying the road. These are the effects. Then other effects include leaching. Leaching simply means when the nutrients of the soil move downward and thereby the roots cannot get to the nutrients. It leads to soil infertility. So how can we control this soil erosion? One way is by terracing. Terracing simply means building steps on the land. These steps help to reduce the speed of the runoff water, and this will actually reduce the effect of soil erosion. So this is one way we can actually control soil erosion. Another way we can control soil erosion is crop rotation. Crop rotation simply means interchanging the crops on different plots of our land. I'm sure you have done this in agriculture in JSS 2. Then mulching. Who will tell me the meaning of mulching? Mulching simply means the covering of the surface of the land or the surface of your soil with dry leaves to prevent evaporation so it can control soil erosion. Another way we can control soil erosion is crossbar. Crossbar means making ridges on the piece of land to avoid the erosion. Then windbreak. Windbreak is actually used to control wind erosion. It helps to reduce the strength of the wind by using trees. Then we can also control soil erosion by afforestation. Afforestation means planting of trees on a piece of land. When you plant trees, it will help to control soil erosion. Then lastly, public awareness and education. You educate people on the effect of soil erosion. Now we have come to the end of this topic. I'm sure you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to drop your question and your comments on the question box below. Attempt your quiz and do your assignments. Have a nice time. Until we meet in our next class. Bye for now.